Have you ever walked into a room and felt the entire energy shift before you've even said a word? Suddenly, people get quiet, awkward, defensive. But here's the brutal truth no one ever tells you clearly. When your energy is truly powerful, it doesn't just influence people, it disturbs the hell out of them. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your very presence exposes everything they're desperately hiding from themselves. Carl Jung revealed this clearly decades ago. He called it the shadow, those parts of ourselves we bury so deeply we pretend they're not there. But your energy wakes these hidden parts up in other people. That's why they suddenly act weird, defensive, passive-aggressive, fake smiles covering real tension. Understand this clearly. It's never you they're reacting to. It's what your presence triggers inside them. If you've ever been called too intense, too much, or felt guilty simply for existing, pay attention. Because until you learn how to master and protect your powerful energy, you'll keep shrinking yourself just to make others comfortable, and it will quietly drain your life away. I'm not just going to explain why this happens. I'll show you exactly how to protect your energy, set invisible boundaries that actually work, and finally stop absorbing other people's chaos. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why people get uncomfortable around you, and more importantly, you'll know clearly how to stop diminishing yourself to soothe their insecurities. But before we dive deeper, let's clarify one critical thing. What the hell do we actually mean by energy? Because if we don't define it right now, this whole conversation is going to get dismissed as woo-woo nonsense. And this isn't that. This is psychology. This is physics. This is real. When I say energy, I'm not talking about crystals or incense or chanting under the full moon. I'm talking about the field you carry. What Carl Jung called psychic energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your unconscious drives. All of that forms a charge. And that charge doesn't just stay locked inside your body. It leaks. It expands. It broadcasts to the outside world. Jung believed every single person walks around with a psychic field that interacts with others, constantly. You're not just talking to someone's mouth. You're interfacing with their unconscious mind, their childhood wounds, their hidden fears, all of it. That's why some people feel instantly magnetic, and others just feel off. Now, fast forward to modern science. What does quantum physics say? It says everything is energy. Matter is energy. Thoughts are energy. Emotions, energy too. Your body is literally vibrating atoms in motion. And just like a tuning fork can affect the frequency of another nearby fork, your internal state affects the people around you, without words. Let me make it real simple. Have you ever walked into a room where two people just had a fight? They're not yelling anymore, but you feel it, like static in the air. That's not imagination. That's energy residue. Your nervous system detects that tension without anyone needing to explain it. And on the flip side, have you ever met someone whose presence instantly made you feel calm, like your whole body just exhaled? That's also energy. You're syncing up with their frequency. Your body is mirroring them, literally. Look up mirror neurons in neuroscience. They're the biological basis of empathy, and they prove you don't need to talk to feel someone. So when I say your energy disturbs people, I'm not being poetic. I'm telling you that the frequency you walk around with, your unresolved trauma, your inner confidence, your self-awareness, all of that is felt by others, consciously or unconsciously. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Now flip that. When someone else hasn't faced their unconscious, and you walk in fully present, your energy becomes a mirror, and they don't like what they see. So no, you're not imagining it. You're not too much. You're just tuned in. And that's rare enough to rattle the ones still asleep. Let's start with one of the most subtle, but powerful signs that your energy shakes people up. People feel nervous around you, and you haven't done a damn thing. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't say anything controversial. You barely even spoke. But suddenly, their body language shifts. They avoid eye contact. Their laugh gets fake. Their hands fidget. And you're sitting there thinking, what did I do? And here's the truth. You didn't do anything. Your energy did. Let me break it down for you. People who haven't dealt with their own inner chaos, people who are emotionally disconnected, insecure, hiding behind a mask, They walk around wearing psychological armor all day long. Armor built from avoidance, denial, pretending everything's fine when it's not, and then you walk in, clear, present, unapologetically aware. You might not even realize it, but your presence carries clarity, and clarity is confronting to people who live in distortion. Carl Jung called this projection. When someone's unconscious baggage gets too heavy to carry, they throw it onto the nearest person who makes them feel something they can't explain. So suddenly, they're uncomfortable around you. Not because you're mean, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your very presence is pulling their shadow to the surface, and their nervous system panics. They don't know how to name it. So what do? They get awkward. They laugh too hard at your jokes, or over-explain themselves, or go quiet like they just saw a ghost. And you're sitting there thinking, am I being too intense? No. You're just holding a frequency they're not used to. Let me give you a simple metaphor. Imagine someone's been sitting in a pitch-dark room for years. Then you walk in and flip on a light. What happens? They squint, they flinch, they might even yell, "Turn it off!" Not because light is bad, but because they've gotten comfortable in the dark. That's you. You are the light. And they're reacting to how unfamiliar truth feels. There's even neuroscience to back this up. Your nervous system is wired to pick up microsignals, non-verbal cues, posture shifts, tone fluctuations. When someone near you is fully grounded and authentic, their nervous system radiates coherence. And people who aren't used to that, their own system starts glitching. Literally, their heart rate goes up, their cortisol spikes, their mirror neurons start misfiring because their brain doesn't know how to match your frequency. So no, you're not too much. You're not making it weird. What you're doing is holding up a mirror. And that's the thing about mirrors. Some people see themselves and rise. Others see themselves and run. But let them. That reaction has nothing to do with your worth, and everything to do with what they've been avoiding in themselves. But now let's talk about a sign that really messes with people's heads, especially yours if you don't know what's happening. Strangers randomly challenge you, or hit you with passive-aggressive energy out of nowhere. You walk into a store, you're polite, calm, you just ask a question. And the clerk gives you that tone. You know, the one, dry, condescending, just enough attitude to let you know they've got a problem. And it sure as hell ain't about the price of milk. Or you're at work. You present an idea in a meeting, confidently, clearly, and someone immediately tries to one-up you. Not because your idea was flawed, but because they felt your presence and their ego couldn't take it. Here's what's really going on. Your energy signals strength, inner stability, self-possession, clarity, and that makes certain people feel small. Not because you made them feel that way, but because they're already carrying insecurity they haven't dealt with. So what do? They attack. Not directly. That'd be too obvious. They go passive-aggressive, snide comments, sarcastic jabs, undermining your tone, questioning your intent. It's not a conversation, it's a power game. Why? Because when someone's identity is built on control, image, or approval, and you walk in with nothing to prove, they feel the imbalance. They feel exposed. Their ego goes into defense mode. Psychologically, this is called ego threat, when a person perceives someone else as superior in a way that challenges their self-image. In a 2004 study from the University of Michigan, researchers found that people who are more insecure about their self-worth are far more likely to react with aggression when they feel challenged, especially by someone who doesn't even realize they're triggering them. So you're not imagining it. That weird tension from the waiter, the snarky comment from the co-worker, the random dude trying to flex on you in a gym. It's not random, it's ego defense. Because deep down, your grounded energy feels like a threat to someone who's still performing. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine two people standing in front of a mirror. One has spent years building themselves up, externally. Looks, titles, followers, reputation. But inside, still unsure. Still looking for validation. The other person, you, show up with presence, quiet confidence. You don't chase approval because you own who you are. Now put both those people in front of the mirror. Who do you think's going to feel exposed? That's why they come for you. Not because you're arrogant, but because your existence challenges their illusion of control. And when someone hasn't built real self-worth, they respond by trying to pull you down to the level where they feel safe again. But here's the secret. Don't bite. Don't get pulled into the game. Because that's what they want. To equalize the energy by provoking a reaction. Hold your center. Keep your energy clean. Their challenge isn't an invitation. It's a test. And the most powerful response? No response at all. You didn't come to play power games. You came to live in truth. Let their ego wrestle with itself. You keep rising. Sign 3. People are either magnetized or repelled. There's no in-between. Let me tell you something you've probably felt your entire life, but maybe couldn't explain. People either feel insanely drawn to you, or they can't stand being around you. There is no middle ground. They either open up to you within 5 minutes, like you're their long-lost soul guide, or they avoid you, criticize you, or ghost you, fast. Sound familiar? Here's why. Your energy doesn't just sit in the background like wallpaper. It demands alignment. People feel it, deeply, even if they can't articulate it. And here's the kicker. Your energy unconsciously forces people to choose. It's like your presence flips an internal switch in them. Do I want to face myself right now? If the answer is yes, they lean in, fast, they open up, trust you, feel safe with you, not because you're being overly nice or performative, but because your frequency feels like home to the part of them that's been starved of truth. But if the answer is no, they bail, they get judgmental, or quiet, or cold. Because something about you makes them feel seen, and that terrifies them. Here's the psychological mechanism behind this. Emotional resonance. We naturally sync with the emotional frequency of the people around us. This is hardwired. Mirror neurons again. But when someone has unresolved trauma, or is living a lie, and you show up aligned and fully present, their system can't sync with yours. There's a clash. They don't hate you. They hate how they feel around you. Because your energy highlights the dissonance they're trying to hide. Think of it like tuning forks. When 2 forks are in the same key, they start vibrating together. That's connection. But if one fork is out of tune, it starts to vibrate chaotically or not at all. That's energetic repulsion. It's not personal, it's resonance. So when people are drawn to you like they've known you forever, trust that. They're responding to your frequency with their truth. And when people reject you, distance themselves, or act weird without cause, don't internalize that either. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the part of themselves that your energy is trying to wake up. Let me give you a real-world example. You meet someone at a gathering. You barely say much, but within minutes, they're telling you their whole life story. Childhood wounds, insecurities, dreams they've never said out loud. That's not because you ask the right questions. It's because your presence feels safe. Safe enough to drop the mask. Now contrast that with someone who gives you side eyes, avoids small talk, or suddenly stops texting after one deep conversation. That's a nervous system saying, "This is too much clarity for me right now." And here's the bottom line. You're not meant to be digestible for everyone. You're not here to make people comfortable. You're here to be real. And that kind of energy polarizes people, on purpose. So stop trying to be likable. Be authentic. The people who are ready will come closer. The rest? Let them walk. That's not rejection. That's alignment. Sign 4. Empaths and energy vampires are drawn to you. Here's another sign your energy is powerful. And it's one of the trickiest to navigate. You constantly attract 2 kinds of people. Either the deeply sensitive, intuitive empaths who feel safe with you, or the emotional leeches, the ones who drain you dry without even noticing. Sound familiar? You might be thinking, why do people always open up to me? Or, why do I feel exhausted after spending time with certain people, even if we didn't talk about anything heavy? Let me break it down. When your energy is strong, grounded, and clear, it becomes like a battery. And guess what? Batteries attract things that need power. The first type, the true empaths, aren't the problem. They're drawn to your clarity, your stillness. Your frequency gives their nervous system a break. It feels good to be around you because they don't have to perform. They can just be. But the second type, that's where it gets dangerous. These are the people who don't know how to regulate their own emotions, people who haven't done the inner work, but crave the relief that your energy gives them. They confuse your presence for their peace, and when they find you, they cling fast. Not because they respect your energy, but because they want to feed off it. This isn't spiritual dramatics, it's psychological mechanics. In psychotherapy, it's called emotional co-regulation. People with dysregulated emotional systems, especially those with anxious or disorganized attachment styles, often attach themselves to people who feel emotionally safe to help regulate their internal chaos. So what happens? They vent, trauma dump, overshare. They lean on you like you're their therapist, healer, savior, all without asking if you signed up for that role. And if you're not conscious of it, you absorb it, you carry it, you walk away feeling heavy, foggy, drained, like you've just run a marathon in your mind. Let me give you a metaphor. Your energy is a clean lake. Empaths come to sit by it, feel its peace, and maybe leave a flower behind. Energy vampires? They show up with buckets, dump their toxic waste in, take your water, and walk away without saying thank you. Here's the hard truth. You're not here to be a dumping ground. You're not a rehab center for broken souls who refuse to take responsibility. Yes, it's noble to hold space, but it's self-betrayal if you let others siphon your life force because they're too afraid to face their own shadows. And if you've been conditioned to be the strong one, the healer, or the emotionally mature one in every relationship, listen closely. That conditioning is exactly what makes you vulnerable to this dynamic. Because your light doesn't just attract love, it attracts need. And your job isn't to meet every need. Your job is to discern who deserves access to your field. So next time someone unloads on you out of nowhere, or you walk away from a casual conversation feeling emotionally wrecked, don't blame yourself. Recognize it, name it, and choose to step back. Power isn't just the ability to lift others. Real power is knowing when to say, "This isn't mine to carry." But before we move into the next sign, I want to touch on something that most people miss. But if you've ever noticed it, it'll hit hard. When your energy is clean, really clean, you don't just attract people. You attract animals, kids, and even nature itself. You walk past a dog and it stops pulling its leash. It just looks at you. You visit someone's house, and their cat, who supposedly hates strangers, comes right to your lap like you've been friends forever. You didn't do anything. You didn't try, but something in your energy said, "This space is safe. This presence is calm. You can relax here." And that's the thing, animals and kids don't lie. They don't care about your status, your looks, your credentials. They feel vibration. They feel truth. They feel safety. And plants? Plants will literally thrive in your home if your energy is right. They respond to frequency, tone, presence. You might not even have a green thumb, but somehow your home is a jungle. That's not random. That's resonance. There was actually a famous experiment done by Cleve Baxter, a polygraph expert, where he connected plants to lie detectors and found that they responded to human emotion, fear, joy, even intent. Now, whether or not you believe every detail of that study, the point stands. Life recognizes life. And when your energy is clean, when you're not broadcasting tension, resentment, or noise, life leans toward you. So if you've ever wondered, why do animals and babies just love me? Or, why do I feel more at peace in nature than I do around people? It's because nature, instinct, and innocence all recognize truth. And truth is what you radiate when your energy field is balanced. Now let's go deeper, because while some people and beings are drawn to your energy, others are straight up repelled, and that's where it gets even more interesting. Sign 5. You can't stand inauthenticity, and it can't stand you. Let me hit you with this. If you've ever felt physically uncomfortable in fake environments, if small talk feels like torture, if you can feel when someone's being polite but not real, that's not you being picky. That's your energy being intolerant to bullshit. And here's the twist. It works both ways. Not only can you feel inauthenticity, but inauthentic people feel deeply threatened by you. You don't even have to say a word. Your presence alone rattles the masks right off their face. Why? Because when your energy is aligned, when you've done the inner work, faced your shadow, and live with integrity, you carry a kind of vibrational truth that cuts through the air like a blade. People living behind masks, they feel that. It makes them nervous, defensive, sometimes even hostile. Psychologically, this ties back to Jung's concept of persona versus shadow. The persona is the mask we wear for society, who we pretend to be. The shadow is everything we try to hide. And when you show up authentic, grounded, not trying to impress anyone, you trigger the collapse of that false persona in others. It's like you shine a spotlight on everything they've tried to keep buried, and they don't like what they see. Let me give you a real-life example. You're in a group conversation. Everyone's laughing, faking nice, riding the surface. You stay quiet, or you drop one real sentence. Nothing dramatic, just truth. Suddenly the energy changes. Some people go silent, some shift uncomfortably, some get annoyed. Why? Because you didn't play the game. You didn't feed the illusion. You brought real into a room built on fake, and realness is disruptive. Here's a metaphor. Imagine everyone's in a costume party pretending to be someone else. You walk in with no mask, just yourself. Some people are relieved, finally, someone being real. Others? They panic, because your authenticity exposes their costume for what it is. A cover-up. This isn't just social dynamics, it's energetic law. Truth and illusion can't coexist peacefully. And when your energy is rooted in truth, it naturally repels anything built on performance, manipulation, or shallow approval. So if people tell you you're too intense, or they ghost you after one deep conversation, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the feeling of being seen. That's their journey, not yours to fix. You're not difficult, you're just clear. And clarity always disrupts confusion. So stop shrinking to make fake people feel comfortable. Your authenticity isn't the problem, it's the solution, even if it burns a few masks along the way. Now we're going to rip the cover off the real engine behind all of this. Why your presence rattles some people to their core, even when you're calm, kind, and quiet. It's because your energy doesn't just walk into a room, it activates people's shadows. And if you don't understand what that means, this is what Jung said. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. In plain English, every single person has a dark side, a part of themselves they hide, suppress, or deny. Repressed anger, shame, jealousy, guilt, insecurity, all the stuff that doesn't fit the good person image they show to the world. Now here's the wild part. That shadow doesn't disappear just because they pretend it's not there. It builds pressure. And when someone with a tightly sealed shadow comes into contact with someone like you, someone who's done the work, someone who's integrated their truth, they feel exposed. Not because you're judging them, but because your energy activates the very parts of themselves they've been trying to outrun. And that's when projection happens. Projection is the unconscious mind's defense mechanism. Instead of facing their own darkness, people start seeing it in you. You're too intense. You think you're better than everyone. You're intimidating. None of that's real. It's their own shadow talking to itself, using you as the screen. It's like you become the human version of a mirror they didn't ask to look into, but now they can't unsee. Let me give you an example. Say someone has suppressed envy. They tell themselves they're generous, supportive, selfless. But deep down, they're insecure, jealous. They want more, but they're afraid to go after it. Then you walk in, owning your space, confident, not trying to prove anything. That triggers them. Suddenly they hate you. But they don't know why, so they invent reasons. She's fake. He's full of himself. They think they're better than everyone. No, but that's not truth. That's projection. And here's the kicker. The more unconscious someone is, the more aggressive the projection becomes. Your energy is a threat, not because of what you do, but because of what it represents. Wholeness, integration, truth. And truth always threatens illusion. This is why so many powerful people are misunderstood. Not because they're wrong, but because they reflect the very thing others are terrified to see in themselves. So if you've spent years wondering why people flip on you out of nowhere, why you get love one minute and rejection the next, this is why. Your light triggers their shadow, and until they deal with that shadow, they'll keep mistaking their pain for your problem. But now that you see the pattern, here's the gift. You don't take it personally anymore. You stop shrinking. You stop dimming your light just to keep other people from feeling uncomfortable. Because triggering their shadow isn't cruelty. It's truth. And sometimes truth is the only thing loud enough to wake the unconscious. But what happens when you don't protect your energy? Let's talk about the price you pay when you don't protect your energy. And I'm not just talking about feeling tired. I'm talking about emotional burnout, identity confusion, spiritual depletion, the kind of fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. If you're someone whose energy is naturally strong, deep, and magnetic, and you don't know how to guard it, you become a magnet for everyone else's chaos. And over time, that chaos starts to feel like your own. Here's how it shows up. First, you start doubting your instincts. Then you will get drained by conversations that used to feel energizing. Or you start waking up anxious for no reason. You say yes to things you feel are wrong, just to keep the peace. And you can't tell where you end and other people begin. That's not you being too sensitive. That's what happens when your energetic field is wide open and completely unfiltered. Imagine walking around with no skin, no protection. Every emotion, every vibe, every unspoken tension, it sticks to you. And if you don't clear it, it becomes you. Here's what most people don't realize. Energy moves both ways. You're not just broadcasting, it's a two-way channel. So if someone dumps fear, guilt, shame, or resentment into your space, and you're wide open, you absorb it. Your nervous system starts to carry a signal that's not yours. That's why so many strong, intuitive people go through cycles of burnout, depression, even identity crisis. Because they've spent years playing emotional sponge, thinking they're helping, when what they're really doing is self-sacrificing. Let's go deeper. There's a term in psychology called emotional contagion, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You can literally catch someone else's emotions through tone, posture, facial expressions, even if they never say a word. Now multiply that by 10 if you're an energetically open person. You don't just feel someone's mood, you internalize it. And if you don't set boundaries, you start making decisions that aren't even yours. You chase goals that don't light you up. You carry guilt that doesn't belong to you. You lose the signal of your own soul because it's buried under everyone else's noise. Let me be clear. You can't fulfill your purpose if you're full of other people's energy. Your power needs protection. Not walls, not coldness, but conscious, intentional boundaries. You need space to check in and ask, is this mine? Or did I pick this up from someone else? And if the answer is not mine, let it go. No explanation, no guilt. Because if you don't protect your energy, the world will use it. And it won't ask for your permission first. From here on out, your energy is not a public resource. It's sacred, and the people who deserve access to it, they'll know how to honor it. But how to set energetic boundaries without becoming cold? Let's get something straight. Having boundaries doesn't mean you become a cold, distant, don't talk to me kind of person. It means you finally decide to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't offer you a bandage. And if your energy is strong, if you're the one people come to for advice, clarity, or comfort, you need boundaries like oxygen. Not just emotional boundaries, energetic ones. Because without them, you're constantly leaking power. But here's the good news. You don't need to yell. You don't need to justify. You don't need to explain. You just need to get clear. Let me break it down. An energetic boundary is an invisible contract that says, here's what I allow into my space, and here's what I don't. And it starts with one simple shift. You stop managing how others feel, and start managing how you respond. You're not cold. You're just not emotionally available to everyone anymore, and that's power. Now let's talk how to do this. Practically. Step 1. Ground yourself before every interaction. This doesn't mean meditate for 30 minutes. It can take 10 seconds. Before you walk into a room or answer a message, mentally say, I'm grounded. I choose what enters my field. I don't absorb what's not mine. This primes your nervous system to observe instead of absorb. Step 2. Visualize a filter, not a wall. Walls block connection. Filters protect it. Imagine a thin layer of light, like mesh, around you. It lets love, truth, and clarity through. It blocks guilt, manipulation, chaos. Step 3. Learn to say no with zero explanation. Every time you over-explain a boundary, you subconsciously apologize for having one. Stop doing that. No, that doesn't work for me. I won't be available for that. I'm not the right person for this conversation. Period. No guilt. Step 4. Watch who you give emotional access to. Not everyone deserves the backstage pass to your soul. Just because someone is hurting doesn't mean it's your job to fix them. Just because they want your energy doesn't mean they've earned it. Ask yourself this often. Does this person restore me or drain me? That question alone can change your life. And here's the mindset shift that seals it all. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about holding your energy high enough that only those ready to meet you there can stay. It's not rejection, it's selection. You're curating your life. Not everyone makes the guest list. Let me give you an example. You're on a call. A friend starts dumping negativity again. Same story, same drama. You've heard it 100 times. In the past, you would have sat there, absorbed it, nodded politely. Now, you stop them. Calm, clear. Hey, I care about you, but this isn't something I can hold space for today. That's a boundary. Simple, director, loving. And guess what? The right people will respect it. The wrong ones, they'll try to guilt you. And their reaction will tell you everything. Because your boundary will expose their relationship to control. Real ones adjust, users resist. So here's the rule. You protect your peace like it's your paycheck. Because truthfully, it is. Here's a daily energetic cleanse. Let's get something straight. You don't need to move to a mountain, wear all white, or burn sage like it's your religion just to keep your energy clear. Real energy hygiene isn't about rituals. It's about consistency. And if your energy is strong and sensitive, you need a daily reset the same way your phone needs to recharge overnight. Because if you don't, you wake up running on other people's programming. Let me show you how to cleanse your energy field, fast and simple. Step 1. Breathe like you're flushing a system. Before you even touch your phone in the morning or after any intense interaction, stop. Close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Now here's the key. While exhaling, mentally say, I release anything that isn't mine. Because you'd be shocked how much energy you've picked up that was never yours to carry. That anxiety could have been your partner's. That heaviness could have come from a stranger in line behind you. We are energetic sponges, whether we like it or not. But breathing is how you wring yourself out. Step 2. Use the cut and release visualization. This one's powerful. Imagine yourself surrounded by cords, connections to people, conversations, emotions from the day. Then imagine a clean blade, like a sword of truth, and mentally cut every single cord that doesn't serve you. Say it in your mind as you do it. I return this energy to its source and I call my power back to me. You don't have to believe in magic for this to work. Your subconscious runs on imagery. This trains your brain to release emotional attachments and reclaim your focus. Step 3. Ground with a simple statement. After releasing, anchor yourself. Say something like, I am in my body. I am in this moment. I choose what I carry. Why? Because high-energy people tend to disassociate without realizing it. You get stuck in your head, looped in other people's emotions, or floating in the future. This pulls you back to your power, to presence. Bonus. Nighttime reset, 2 minutes before bed. Before you fall asleep, take just 2 minutes to do this. Sit, breathe. Then mentally scan your day and say, I rebuke all negativity. That alone will change how deeply you sleep. You're not just resting your body, you're clearing your field. This isn't about being perfect, it's about staying tuned in. Because when your energy is clean, everything else gets clearer. Your intuition, your boundaries, your decisions, your self-respect. You're not foggy because you're lost. You're foggy because you're cluttered. Cleanse daily, not for show, but because your energy is the currency you spend every second. And you can't afford to give it away without checking the bill. So now, how to stop absorbing other people's emotional chaos? Let's get brutally honest. If you don't master this one skill, you'll constantly feel like life is happening to you, not through you. You'll walk into a room feeling fine, and 10 minutes later, you're anxious, irritable, or exhausted, and you have no clue why. Here's why. You're not just empathic. You're energetically porous, which means your system automatically syncs with the emotional frequency of whoever you're around. And unless you learn how to stay sovereign, you're going to carry other people's fear, shame, tension, or insecurity like it's your birthright. This isn't just spiritual talk, it's neuroscience. Your brain is wired with something called mirror neurons. They literally mimic the emotional state of the people around you. It's how babies learn. It's how empathy works. But if you don't set an energetic boundary, it becomes emotional contamination. How to stop absorbing other people's chaos and start owning your emotional state. Step 1. Recognize the transfer. The moment your mood changes suddenly after interacting with someone, stop. Ask yourself, was I feeling this before I spoke to them? If not, congratulations, you just caught the transfer. That's step 1. Awareness is 80% of the battle. Step 2. Use the mental armor trick. Right before you enter a space that feels heavy, work, family, a toxic group chat, use this line mentally: their storm is not my weather. Simple, sharp, cuts through the static. This phrase tells your subconscious, I can witness without absorbing. I can care without carrying. Step 3. Stay in observation mode, not absorption mode. You walk into a room. The energy is off. People are tense. Don't match it. Don't try to fix it. Just observe. Literally say to yourself, I'm observing energy, not becoming it. This anchors your consciousness in witness mode, which stops the automatic emotional download. Step 4. After contact, shake it off. Literally. Your body holds onto energy like static on a sweater. So when you leave a conversation that felt off, shake out your hands, stretch, or physically move. Walk outside. Do a hard exhale like you're blowing that crap out of your system. Even just saying, I release what's not mine. As you move your body, resets your nervous system. The bottom line, you're not here to be a sponge. You're here to be a lighthouse. Sponges soak up everything, clean or dirty. Lighthouses hold position no matter the storm. They shine, they guide, but they don't get dragged under. So from now on, stop absorbing other people's chaos. You witness it. You stay clear. You stay powerful. Because the world doesn't need another empath who's exhausted. It needs one who's sovereign. Why you have this energy? Let me say something that might hit deep. You weren't given this level of energy just to survive life. You were given it to change it, to shift it, to wake people up. But first, it had to wake you up. People with powerful energy often carry painful pasts. Not because they're cursed, but because pressure creates presence. Trauma forced you to observe, to read rooms, to sense danger before it arrived. That hypersensitivity, that awareness, it was survival. But over time, it became your gift. And now you walk into spaces and feel the undercurrent before people even speak. You sense the lie behind the smile. You see the tension under the surface. And most people don't get it. They say things like, why are you so intense? Can't you just relax? Why do you have to go so deep all the time? Because you're not here to skim the surface. You're here to disrupt the fake, expose the hidden, and call people back to their truth. That's not an accident. That's your design. Carl Jung called this journey individuation. Becoming your true self by facing your unconscious and integrating your shadow. You've done that, or you're in the middle of doing it. And the result? Your energy isn't just present, it's alive. It's activated. It carries a frequency that says, I've been to the dark. I'm not afraid of yours. That's why people either lean in or run. Your presence confronts them with a choice. Stay asleep or wake up. Powerful energy and misunderstanding. Here's the thing. Powerful energy, people are often misunderstood because they weren't born to fit into broken systems. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break patterns in your family, in your community, in yourself. But listen closely. Just because you're built for it doesn't mean it's easy. Your strength might have isolated you. Your insight might have cost you friends. Your energy might have drawn people who used it, drained it, or feared it. That wasn't punishment. That was preparation. Because now, you're not just intuitive, you're aware. You're not just empathic, you're strategic. You're not just sensitive, you're awake. So stop asking why you're different. You were never supposed to be like them. You were supposed to remember who you are and then help others do the same. That's the purpose behind your energy. It's not just power, it's a calling, and it's time to answer it. Final challenge. Let's lock this in. If this hit you in your chest, if you saw yourself in these truths and felt that fire wake up inside you, then I want you to drop it loud and clear in the comments right now. I own my energy. This isn't just a comment. It's a line in the sand. It's you telling your old self, your doubts, and the entire damn universe, I'm done dimming. I'm done apologizing. I own who I am. And if you're serious about protecting your energy, mastering your mind, and stepping all the way into your real power, then smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because we're just warming up. And what's coming next? You won't want to miss it. And listen, if this message spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to someone whose power you see, even if they don't see it yet. Because authenticity spreads through activation. One person owning their energy gives permission for others to do the same. You're not intense by accident. You're not sensitive by mistake. You are wired for impact. Let's shift the collective, one powerful presence at a time. Don't forget to subscribe to the free newsletter for more. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.